Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Where Medicine Meets Ministry. Dr. Cherie talks faith and facts. Guys, you know, I always say whenever I'm about to introduce a special guest, I always say I'm so excited, but I really am, because there are truly some significant, extraordinary individuals out there who feel like they're leading and living ordinary lives, but they are doing some extraordinary things. Today, I have with us a dynamic duo couple. First of which, Karen Roberts. Karen Roberts is the founder of Envision Life. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to help individuals envision life and envision themselves beyond their illness. And it is also a support group for people diagnosed with any form of cancer. Now, it is a support group not only for any individual diagnosed with cancer, but it is also a support group for caregivers and for survivors. Now, Karen herself is an 8-year breast cancer survivor who underwent a bilateral mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation. When I say that this is my breasty sister, she for sure is my breasty sister. She is an advanced nurse practitioner, so she is in the healthcare field. So trust me, when she got that diagnosis, she knew what she was standing up against. She's working in rehab medicine, and her very handsome husband, Mr. Kirk Roberts, is a Chicago firefighter with 20 years seniority in the game of risking his life in order to save others. This high-powered married duo, let me tell you, they love the Lord. They appreciate all of the many moments in their lives where medicine truly met ministry. So without further ado, please help me welcome Mr. and Mrs. Kirk and Karen Roberts. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Oh my goodness. Is that what 31 years of marriage does for you? I mean, you guys look like teenagers. I mean, maybe mid-20s. I give it to you. I'll let you be grown today.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Okay. Well, listen, guys, I want to jump right in because they have their story truly is a unique one. And if you guys have been following my podcast, you typically have seen me when I do interviews, I'm interviewing just a solo guest. And I could have just interviewed Karen Roberts, but I'm telling you, Kirk Roberts adds such a unique perspective to this cancer journey, to this medicine meets ministry moment, that I thought it was significant to have them both on as a couple. But Karen, I'm gonna start with you. How long have you been a nurse practitioner?
20 years.
Oh my goodness. Well, I guess you got to be beyond your 20s if you've already been practicing for more than 20 years. Now, tell me this. So you've been practicing for 20 years. Describe your life at the time of your diagnosis, meaning, you know, did you guys have kids? How old were they? And what was going on in your life, Karen, in regards to your career? And what was going on in your life, Kirk, at that point in time with your career?
Well, when I initially got that diagnosis, I was working as a family nurse practitioner in retail clinic at the time.
Okay.
So I was very distraught, actually, of course, after hearing that news. But at the time, we were doing quite well. We both were working full-time jobs. My children had graduated from high school. They were in college. And everything seemed fine until that one moment where I felt a lump, and then it got larger and larger. And I thought that, you know, it'll just go away. Thought that maybe during my cycle it would dissipate, but it did not. I then went to see one of my friends who's also a physician, who wanted me to take a breast exam. And actually I've been taking exams every year. So I had not missed my mammogram. And it was in between that mammogram 1 year prior and what it just hit me, that there was then determined that yes, there was a lump there.
Wow. So you're working still as a nurse practitioner in retail. And I believe I know exactly what you're talking about because I was working in this for the same employer. I believe we overlapped at times, not knowing that at one point I was probably acting as your supervising physician.
That's right, because I did work at the clinic, and I believe I had to call you at one point.
Exactly.
Wow.
Isn't this bizarre?
Oh, yes, it is. I had forgotten about that, but yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So when God means to bring people together, I'm telling you that it's divine order when things happen. And little did we know that we would have this connection now. Now, Kirk, what was going on for you? So what was going on in your life? And then how did you feel? I mean, we know what she felt like to fill that mass, to get diagnosed. What was it like as a husband and as the head of your household to hear that news, receive that news, and kind of prepare your family for the fact that everybody had to step up to take care of mom?
Well, yeah, that's on earth to make sure that she's okay. So at that point in time, I was in the fire academy, so I just can't put into words how grueling of a task it was to be a candidate and a firefighter in Chicago and have your wife going through surgery and chemo. So those situations are either going to make you or break you.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Now tell me this, Kirk. So what was it like for you to have to focus on your firefighter studies, right, and exams, while your wife was in treatment? What does that do to help the audience understand? What does that do to a husband or to a significant other when you know I need to focus because there's a future for us, right? So I can't let this slide because she's going to get over this and we're going to need to have something strong for us to rely on. So I got to press forward, but I know that my wife needs me.
Well, when people say nobody but God, I know for myself.
You better preach.
Well, I couldn't tell you how I passed those exams. You had to keep an 85% average throughout the academy, and it was 6 months. So you had to do medical side, EMT side, and then you had to do the fire side. So in between that, I was studying in the hospital by her bedside. So, and God had instructed us, they showed me favor because they would tell me just stay at the hospital with my wife. Don't come in unless we call you.
Now, you know that's favor.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I owe the fire department a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
My second family, they took care of me and my wife.
See?
So thankful for that.
And you know what is so interesting is that Kirk, had you pursued a career in the fire department prior to the time when you were in studies? So had there been a period of time when you had initially started and then there was kind of like a break and then things started back up for you?
No, it was just right in there. Yeah, it was
right
just in there, right in the fire.
So so listen.
Put right in the oven. Yeah.
Right in the oven. Okay, so I love this analogy. You went right into the fire from a career standpoint.
Yeah.
But little did you know that God was throwing you into another fire, making you and molding you as your wife was going through her treatment and diagnosis. That had to do something for the two of you in your marriage and for your children to see how you role modeled getting through a life-threatening diagnosis, while at the same time, I, as a physician, occupational medicine, I do the pre-placement physicals for firefighters. So I understand and know how grueling the testing, the building up of not only your physical strength, but your mental strength. For you to have to take that on at that time was amazing. So you've been through the fire, literally.
Yeah. But God sent me some soldiers. I got some super friends.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they're good guys. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, my back.
And Karen, did you ever feel bad for Kirk because you knew that his heart was torn between what you needed in the moment, while at times knowing that he had to focus on what your family was going to need in the future? How did you feel as a wife and as a mom?
I definitely was concerned. I can be a little bit of a worrywart. So of course, I was concerned about what was going on and hoping and praying that my diagnosis would not be the cause for him, not making it because he wanted to be with me. So he had to, it almost like, you had to choose, are you going to be over here or are you going to finish the academy? But I just kept encouraging him to complete and do what he had to do to make it through, because it make us much stronger in the end. And I'm so glad he did. But initially, yes, I was very, very concerned and even worried that I'd be the cause of him not, crossing that finish line, because this was so important to us.
Correct.
This was a major change in our lives.
Yeah, it's a game changer. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's important. Go ahead, Karen.
Just to have that happen at this stage in life was so crucial. It was very gut-wrenching.
Absolutely. And I think that's important. That's why I wanted to have the two of you on as a couple, because I think it's so important for individuals to appreciate that there is that other side, that is that caregiver side to the story, that there is that life is still happening while you're trying to live. And how you address it, and whether or not you have that spiritual foundation to help you push through it, and or whether or not you have that inner circle of people that could provide you with the support that you need, whether or not they're family, friend, or someone like I know you, Kirk. Kirk is one of these individuals who could go out to pick up a hammer from the nearest hardware store and then come home stating that, yeah, we're going to have dinner with so-and-so because I met, a certified electrician who's also running for alderman, and because you have that personality. And so you're able to gather inner circle people, but how special and how prudent our God is that he provided the people in your inner circle that you needed right at the time when you needed that support.
Yeah, they were definitely sent.
Yes. Now, Karen, throughout all of this, tell me, how did Envision Life get started? Your foundation.
Once I was diagnosed and had to go through my rounds of chemo, I met two young ladies who were going through the same. We had chemo at the same time. So we would see each other and we just started talking, fellowshipping. We would end up going to each other's homes. And we just started talking about the lack of resources that seemed to be available for us. So we started talking about trying to help other people. Now, remind you, the three of us are going through chemo at the same time, but we're also trying to find ways that when other people were to be diagnosed, that they wouldn't feel the way we felt, where there was no help. So we felt like there wasn't enough out there. So we started an organization, we call it Envision Life. It was the three of us, and it was Tammy, myself, and Kizzy. And the group initially was named because the three of us were sitting around the table and we were talking about this event that Kizzy had. And this event was where you would come in as a group of women that came in and we did vision boards. So they did vision boards. And at the time, even as old as I am, I had not heard of a vision board. And she started telling me about what it was, and I was very intrigued, and we actually did a vision board, the three of us. So that's actually where the name Envision Life came from. And we just started reaching out to people that were newly diagnosed, trying to find assistance for people in different matters. It's not just one way of giving that we were trying to do. It was various ways, but we knew it was important to involve the caregivers, because the caregivers are such an important piece of recovery.
Correct.
And we involved our husbands at the time. So they were an essential part of this organization. And that's how it all began.
Wow. Now, how has the organization's focus changed over time? Because you guys are doing some different stuff.
Yes, we are. Initially, like I explained prior, we were helping others, say finding rides to chemo appointments, maybe paying for arrangements after their transition. But we started to change the focus of Envision Life. So it's not only envisioning a life after a diagnosis of cancer, it's just envisioning your life now as we stand. How about maybe you can't or you don't have the resources to help or to say go for a job interview. So we started a closet. The closet is where people will give slightly used clothing, and we have 2 different locations now. And so an individual, irregardless of circumstance, can come in to find clothing for different events. We have dress-up clothes, we have prom clothes, we have business clothing for an interview. So we wanted to try to start assisting others in that realm as well.
Now, see, I love that because one, I really believe that it was divinely appointed that you named your organization Envision Life, because there's so many things that can fall under the umbrella of that name. And
Right.
as I've come to know you two as a couple, you needed a name that would allow you to enlarge yourselves because you are constantly, your minds are always going with regards to how can we be a blessing to others. And when I found out, when you mentioned to me, I want to start this closet, because I'm driving around and I'm noticing different, they're homeless individuals, but if you stop and you talk to them, man, they are highly educated. So life circumstances happened. And if they could just have a nice business suit, if we can just connect some dots and give them some additional resources, we can help these individuals move along in life. The people that have been faced with fires and they lose everything and they have no clothes. I mean, all of these different things. And so when you mentioned to me that you were starting the closet and you got the first location, I was over the moon. Donating clothes up the wazoo. I'm like, yes, thank you, Jesus. I have some place where I can actually give my clothes. And when she says gently used, she truly means gently used. And a lot of the clothes are brand new with tags. I know because I gave some of them. And then when you went to the South Side location and you got 2 locations, that requires significant coordination on you all's part. Getting everything is set up. And when I say things are set up, this closet, you feel like you are walking into a clothes boutique. I mean, everything is all lined up. And I mean, children's clothes, men's clothes, ladies' clothes, juniors, toddlers, shoes, hats, coats, jackets. I mean, it's like walking into a store. And for you guys to avail yourselves of, one, going around and picking up all of these donations, or making yourselves available on a particular whole day, waiting for individuals to come by, bring them. Then you got to organize them, put them on the hangers, set them up so that the person walking in feels as if they are walking into a boutique where they get to choose what they want and walk out without spending a dime.
Yeah.
If that is not love, and where medicine meets ministry, my God, what more of an example do you need?
And we didn't want people to give us things that they wouldn't wear.
Absolutely not. And then you wouldn't want to set it up in a place where people are coming and picking through bins.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like it's a clearance section. No, audience, please hear me. If
Yeah.
you have an individual that is in need, whether or not they faced a fire, whether or not they have been kicked out, they lost their jobs, especially during COVID, when things open up, and we will have the contact information for the Roberts and for the Envision Life Closet, so that you can reach out to them, so that as things begin to open up and they are allowed to have individuals come back in, you know, on a regular, spaced accordingly. You guys need to have this as a resource. Every nonprofit under the sound of my voice, you will need to know, if you're in the Chicagoland area, how to get in touch with these two individuals, because people will need those resources as things begin to open up, because where else are they going to go?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't even know that it was going to be for such a time as this.
Yeah.
But closet, you better get ready. You
Yes.
better get ready. And go ahead, Karen, you were going to
I
say
was just
something?
going to say we are at the point where we don't need donations right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking mainly to give some items away because of the change in the world and this pandemic we're in right now. We haven't been able to move as many clothing items as we would have liked to, and as we've done with the first closet the year prior. So it's going to be real exciting to see when we do open back up, that we're ready and prepared for the masses.
Yes. Yes. Ooh, I'm excited. Now, okay, remember I had mentioned before that you guys' minds go a mile a minute and you don't seem to stop. You say you're going to stop. You say, I'm going to stop. And the next time I talk to you, it's like, oh, okay, I got another idea. Now, you two decided to venture out and help women that are dealing with alopecia. You and I, Karen, having gone through chemo, we know that one of the side effects is that not only do we lose our hair during chemo, but there are some individuals whose hair never quite grows back, or never quite grows back the way it was before. It's patchy, and we know what it feels like to our self-image. And our self-esteem when we lose our hair and we're looking in the mirror and we're bald, and we go and we find wigs that look like our great grandmother, wore them back on a plantation somewhere. And so we struggle with trying to look. I went way back, struggling to look beautiful. And you guys thought, no, we can do more. Can you share what you two decided to come up with and what you did?
No, it was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
I don't know if this is for selfish reasons, but myself, I've gone through the experience of after having chemo, when you go through that devastating moment in time where you're losing hair and you see the hair on the shower floor, on the pillow, devastating. And I recall going with a friend to one of the beauty supply places where they sit you in the middle of the store and give you a limit. You could have 3 wigs at a time. So now I'm already devastated by the fact that my hair is falling out. So I now have to take my scarf off in the middle of a retail store to try on hair. I just felt embarrassed. I didn't like that. It just was not me. I'm more of a private person, and I did not want people looking at me while I'm trying on hair. So my husband and I, we talked about these things, and even now, although it's been 8 years since my diagnosis, I still struggle with areas in my hair myself where it's not growing the way I would like. So we had talked about my struggles, and we thought, why don't we just have a hair business? Why don't we find quality hair? Better yet, let's go out of town, out the country, and find a supplier that could help us supply hair to women in need. One of my struggles, I should say also, was when I would purchase hair, it takes forever for it to come. We're talking 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm a bit impatient myself. And I don't feel like I should have to wait so long. And to have a local business like that, I think that I could eliminate a lot of that wait time. Plus, the hair is quality hair.
Right.
So we started a business called Lux Wig Boutique. And we have human hair, quality hair that we sell. And it's mainly, it's actually for the woman who maybe have gone through the same struggles, but it's also for the woman that wants some convenience in her life. She wants some versatility. She wants to change for the evening. So it's not just geared toward one type of person. It's for everyone.
Everyone. Now, listen, ladies, for those of you that may have been diagnosed with breast cancer, you need to understand that you need to reach out to your insurance company, because you are entitled to reimbursement if you purchase wigs. Now, depending upon the plan you have, they may give you a set dollar amount, or they may give you a set number of unit amount, but you are entitled. So don't lose out on that life insurance, on that health insurance benefit, because it's yours. A lot of times people just don't know. As a physician, I'm telling you, you need to know, get out there. This can be a way that Lux Wigs can help you now get through that self-image, that self-esteem issue. I myself personally am wearing what I like to call the Michelle. Michelle is gorgeous. Yes, she was initially purchased in, I believe, like a 1B or what have you, but you can see, you can color her really nicely and she looks beautiful. I don't mind sharing that I love variety in how I look, and I don't mind telling you that Lux Wig Boutique has got it going on. And I mean hair that is grade AAA, soft, beautiful, flowing. Yes. See, okay, now she's teasing me. I have been threatening that I was going to take this out of her inventory really, really quick. So that looks like, oh my God, that has highlights and everything. Yeah. Oh, that looks gorgeous. And
this
see,
is about a 20. This is about a 20-inch.
It is absolutely beautiful. And ladies, you got to appreciate the fact that for a woman who has gone through chemo and has had struggles with alopecia herself, there was an opportunity for her to find an excellent resource and take care of her. That would have been cool. A lot of us do it. We find our hookup, and our hookup is our hookup. But I love the fact that this is a forward-moving, powered duo that said, I found the hookup. I researched the hookup. No. There are too many other women living through and with what I'm going through. And I don't want anyone else's journey to be as hard or as arduous as mine. So let's take it upon ourselves, because it's not an easy feat starting a business. It requires inventory, it required travel, it required QA, it required all of that. But you did it really with the mission of love. It was not initially born out of, let's open a business so that we can drive revenue. It was, how can we be a blessing? And at the same time, be able to bring in enough where we can repeat our inventory. And Lux, let me tell you, donates back to Envision Life. I mean, come on now. What more can a business do than be created and born out of a need, and then turn around and use profits to further bless another need?
Yes. That's what we're trying to do.
There you go. And hence, guys, I hope you can see why Envision Life and Live Today make the perfect team. Because we always say that we want to live today and envision life tomorrow. Yes. Now, I cannot believe this time has just absolutely flown by. How can our audience get in touch with you if they want to know more about Envision Life, especially when the closet gets open? And how can they get in touch with you if they want to know more and see more about your inventory with Lux Wigs, even if it's just an opportunity for them to email you, and you gather their email addresses and be able to send them out, a mass email marketing notice when the closet is open and the hours, and or to give them a link to any videos that you may produce that will have the actual inventory product line available for them. How can individuals get in touch with you?
Well, I am on Facebook.
Okay.
So you can look for Envision Life on Facebook. And I'm going to give you an email address that you can use, which is envlife13@gmail.com. Luxwig is luxwigboutique@gmail.com. But if you want to phone me, that's perfectly fine. I'll give you my phone number, which is 708-305-5621. And then leave a message, or you could text and just let me know what you're inquiring about, and I will get back with you.
Wonderful. And everyone, trust you me, I will make sure that I have all of that contact information in the show notes, so you'll be able to make sure you're able to get back in touch with her. So don't freak out if you didn't get it all. I will make sure that it is in the show notes. Kirk and Karen Roberts, thank you so much for being a part of Where Medicine Meets Ministry. Truly, your story and your journey is going to change lives and have an impact like no other, like no single guest can do. Something about that power couple that continues to be a blessing. God is going to bless you, and thank you for blessing our audience.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.